All right, MMA Maniacs, it's time once again for your weekly MMA podcast.
It worked that time.
Split Decision.
Now we got to start over.
Brought to you from the Rootloff Family Inc. Studios. It's Bueller and Dodge bringing you the news today. Big thanks to our sponsors, Strongboard Balance. Go check them out at strongboardbalance.com. Get on board. We've had the opportunity to use this for multiple weeks now. It's gone around to a few gyms, Oakdale MMA being one of them. Also, I have it at the gym that I'm at now, and I fell off it a few times.
I just seen this video, though, the other day. This guy was going beast mode
Going ham on some ropes.
for 9 seconds.
Saw you with the ropes. It looked pretty impressive.
You know you can do an Instagram video for 30 seconds, right?
Yeah, I fell off. I 100% fell off, but I was working on my double Dutch rudder skills.
Yeah, it looked like you could probably do a pretty good Spanish rowboat.
I 100% could.
I think he needs to do a double shake weight while he's on it.
That'd be amazing.
So change the way you work out. Strongboardbalance.com. Check it out. They took care of us. We're hoping to get them out there to you so you can see what the cool product can do for your workout.
And get on board.
Yeah, it'll change the way you work out forever. Also, mymmanews.com. Big thanks to them. And because we're going to have to jump into it here. Tell your friends to get us on Spreaker, Stitcher, SoundCloud. Of course, our website, splitdecisionmma.com.
And now iHeartRadio.
The big news this week, of course, we got picked up by iHeartRadio.
And hello, if you are listening on iHeartRadio.
Thank you.
Thanks for showing some class.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Showing some class.
It's a huge platform. You know, it's worldwide. We are happy to be a part of it.
We're already in 58 countries, though.
Well, now we're in the rest of the world. So our Facebook is Split Decision MMA Podcast. Give us a like, or on Twitter and Instagram, SD_MMA. With all that said and done, we're going to go ahead and jump into it, break down some fight cards. Look forward to another fight card this weekend. And, of course, the news.
The news. Big news that came out this week. Stitch Duran, the famous cut man, has been let go by the UFC after recently speaking out against the Reebok deal. Someone on Twitter reached out to him and asked him if they lost their sponsors as well, since if you've noticed, a lot of the fight guys, all the cut men have the special vests, usually by Tap Out or by somebody, and they have sponsorships on it. And he says, I did. He says, we were told we're not allowed to wear sponsors because it's not by Reebok. He asked if he could get money from Reebok, and they said there was no more money left after it was already allocated to all the fighters for the cut men to wear Reebok apparel. And
so another short-sighted part of this deal.
They
obviously
lost all of their compensation. He says there's, it kind of cut us off guard. He's like, I make quite a bit of money getting a sponsorship, because he's like, I'm prime real estate, especially in between rounds. I'm one of the only guys you still see in there.
Oh yeah.
I would love to see this quadratic equation of $77 million over 7 years of fighters that you don't even know if you're going to have next year, next month, and then to tell these guys it's not in the equation.
Yeah.
The quadratic equation.
The quadratic equation. He said he made, at the time he said I might have to do more
The
seminars.
Pythagorean theorem?
Yeah, definitely, Carpenter Square.
I might have to start going to boxing or go to other promotions, but I got to figure out what I'm going to do within, I think it was like the next day.
Well,
he was cut by the UFC.
Yeah, he works for the Klitschko brother now.
Yeah.
He used to work for both of them, and he also had another boxer that he was exclusive for, to where the Klitschkos would actually schedule their fights around him because he's such a talented cut man.
He even said he did World Series of Fighting, and then the UFC would not use him for 5 fights after that.
Really?
Yeah.
World Series of Fighting said they picked him up today, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Well, good. It's good that he found a home. I mean, I think this is the problem that we're going to see, though, too, is with a lot of these fighters who have griped about the Reebok deal. Yeah. And we talked to TJ Dillashaw about this in the interview. If you haven't had a chance to listen to it, it's up there. Go check it out. About fighters possibly, when they get to the end of their contracts, holding out maybe for a Bellator deal or for a World Series of Fighting deal. Because especially if they're low men on totem pole, and they're 3 fights in, and it's their first 3 fights at the UFC, and they're only getting $3,000 to fight from the Reebok, and all of a sudden their 3-fight contract's up, and Bellator goes, hey, well, we'll match the UFC money you were getting, and you can have your own sponsors.
Right.
Yeah, and he had the same outlook that Araya had, where you just got to learn to market yourself outside of the octagon. You've got to find other ways to get that money, because bringing them into the octagon, is the easiest way, but there's other ways.
Now, someone on Twitter brought up a good point. Legally speaking, that the UFC is the one who hires all the cutmen. However, if you wanted to use your own cutman, you can hire them yourself. You would have to pay them. You can hire them yourself, and they have to be one of your cornermen.
But you still can't wear their sponsors.
They still can't wear their sponsors, but at least if you really wanted Stitch to come in and be your cut man, even though he's been released by the UFC,
you could pay him.
You can pay him. He can be your cut man.
See, but this is the whole point that I brought up around the Randy Couture thing when Ryan Couture was fighting in the UFC and Randy Couture couldn't be in his corner. Technically, you're allowed to sanction anybody you want to be in your corner. But for some reason, they found a way to get Randy out of the equation.
Well, they find a way to do whatever.
This is true. When you got money, you can do that.
You can do that.
I can't do anything because I'm broke.
Wanderlei Silva went a little crazy on social media once again. This time he says that and this was having to do with the Stitch thing, someone was asking about it. He says they fired him. He's like, that's right, they fired Stitch for standing against this theft being perpetrated on the athletes. I wonder, why don't they fire me? I already said I do not want to, nor will I work anymore for the promotion. They won't dismiss me. This is what happens when you speak the truth against this company. They're driven out. They have no respect for anyone. I've made it very clear to all of you that I will never fight for this promotion. The UF circus, again, they have fixed fights, and I can prove it. I haven't dropped the bomb yet. I haven't said everything that I know.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what he does say about that. I mean, there's been speculation for years about, obviously in Pride.
Oh, in Pride, there's been fixed fights, and they've actually proven it. In the UFC, there's never been to be proven fixed fights.
Never been proven. There's just been a lot of people calling from the from
Some
the
of them,
stand, so
yeah.
to speak.
And Ken Shamrock admitted to fixed fights.
Yeah, again in Pride, in order Pancrase too, I believe.
Yeah. Well, when the Yakuza shows up with a suitcase full of cash and a desired outcome, you don't say no.
He also said, either way, I'll tell you, you're fired. He's like, I won't give up until they free the athletes. This promoter is killing our sport. The fighters are going back to work, support the families because they can't live from the sport alone. They're very poorly paid. We're getting organized soon, and I'll have news for my brothers in the ring. This will not stand. Some will have tried to buy me, but I am not, nor have I ever been for sale. I will fight to the end, unmask these promoters who are deceiving the public, cheating, and taking dignity from our sport. This is turning into pro wrestling with fixed fights. We have to stop them before this is the end of the line. Someone tweeted out to Dana White, please sue the shit out of him if he's not, if he's lying just because he's ruined his legacy doesn't mean he should shit on the sport with us or with lies. And all Dana White came back was with a little smile.
Of course. Dana White was hot on Twitter this week.
Yeah.
I was actually surprised with how much he was baiting back.
Now, how do you feel about this whole thing? Do you think there's been fixed fights in the UFC? At least, okay, let's you can separate it between pre-Zuffa and post-Zuffa. While Zuffa's had it, do you think that there's been fixed? I think since they've been under the Athletic Commission, they've definitely been under the microscope. It'd be really hard.
It'd be really hard to do.
Fix those fights. Now, anything beforehand?
Well, that's the thing, is that
Who
with the
knows?
UFC's inception, the whole idea of its inception was a fix. I mean, if you want to go back to when the Gracies owned it,
right?
The whole idea of Hoist Gracie being this unsuspecting guy, that wasn't by accident.
Right.
They didn't want Hickson, even though Hickson has
Right.
500 fights by armbar.
Yeah,
in
or Horian, yeah.
backroom fights. Yeah, exactly, because they looked like fighters. They wanted a very unsuspecting...
They picked the smallest one they had.
Yep, and they threw Hoist out there, and there could have been times when I mean... I've heard it said by other fighters. I hate to quote anybody specifically, but I mean I have old friends that were friends with fighters back in the days, like Oleg and Bonander and the Shamrocks and stuff like that. And I'm not saying any of them specifically, but yeah, I've heard rumblings about fixed fights back then.
There was one back in the day I remember a lot of people talked about, and it was Oleg. It was in one of the tournament fights. He actually went up against his training partner, and his training partner lost in the first 10 seconds of the round.
Right.
And then so that Oleg could advance.
Yeah.
So, but again, that was all pre-Zuffa.
No,
I'm now talking since the Fertitta brothers have owned it. Do you think there's been anything?
I don't think there has. I've just heard rumblings of it. I've had actually friends say there's no way that had to be a fixed fight. I don't see it. I mean, these guys aren't actors.
Right.
They go out and they, a lot of the times you see them go out and they just have a shitty fight and they lose. But it doesn't look like they gave up. Nobody wants to, have to go to the hospital, pay their hospital bills and be laid up for 6 months to a year because they were on the losing end of a fixed fight. I don't think anybody volunteers for that. And we see how much these guys get paid unless somebody's dropping a suitcase full of money on them, like the Joker made about Pride. It really is just not worth it.
Yeah. Let's see. So we have back at UFC 188 that was in Mexico City in June. Welterweight Augusto Dodger Montano has tested positive for testosterone metabolites and is now being suspended for 1 year.
I thought the year suspension was supposed to take place after the July 1st.
It says effective from the date of the bout, violating policy and promotional agreement. So, however, there is no regulatory body in Mexico, so the UFC was the one who functioned as the role of the regulatory body, so that's why, maybe.
All right.
And it happened to be for that year. They're the ones that do the drug testing. Now, we do have a little bit of an issue with UFC being the ones that do some of the drug testing. This came out of back in October in Halifax, Nova Scotia. This was UFC Fight Night 53, where Pedro Munhoz beat Gerald Sanders at that fight. He then failed his post-fight drug test for elevated levels of testosterone, and his win was changed to no contest. This was never publicly announced until just recently.
How long ago was this fight?
From October.
Oh, okay. All right.
He's saying he never took PEDs. Of course, this is what everybody says. However, very strange. They don't have the Nova Scotia Boxing Authority said that the levels were high, and they said that they were his levels were at 850. Now the legal levels are anywhere between 300 and 1100. His was at 850. That's in the limit. He said, but your last fight was in Las Vegas. It was at 410, and it's 850. So obviously you have elevated levels.
But it's not above the limit.
But it's not. That's his whole point. He actually got a lawyer to try to figure this all out. So they're not above the limit. He's like, I could be taking supplements. It could be not having sleep. It could be having sex. All these things change the testosterone levels on a given basis.
Yeah.
As long as I'm not over the limit, there's no way you should be able to pull thing. Nova Scotia says, oh, well, we didn't do the tests. The UFC did them. We got the results from them. We're just giving you the results.
I thought the UFC said they were out of the drug testing business.
Yeah, that's why I said this whole thing is very strange. We're still waiting to see what...
Like, wasn't it from Dana White's mouth? Like, we can't do this shit,
can't
right?
do this,
We're not going to do it anymore.
Yeah, it's the whole Kung Lee debacle.
Yeah.
So I don't know what exactly is going to end up happening. I mean, obviously, we're just now getting to the USADA running the PED testing for the UFC. This is before that. It's going to be very strange to see what ends up happening with this guy, whether or not his test is he's going to get suspended. I mean, right now his fight's been turned to a no contest.
I think any test the UFC has done in the past that came back positive
should be thrown out.
Yeah, should be
completely thrown out.
Completely thrown out.
Speaking of drug testing,
Holy shit, that's a nose. I've been staring at that trying to figure out what that is. I thought it was like an earlobe.
yeah, it's a broken nose.
Jesus Christ.
Cowboy Cerrone recently was tweeted by a fan. He says, any news on when you're going to beat Dos Anjos? He said whenever he cycles off and can pass a blood test. Dos Anjos did not like that. Said, Anthony and Diaz beat your ass. Did you see what I did to them? I'll make sure I give you the worst beating. Asked for the fight. And then also said, you're probably drunk. It's like, I'll just wait to make you eat your words in the cage. Dana White came on and said, don't argue with the goofy white dude throwing up West Side sign from Toronto. Which was the fan that tweeted Cowboy Cerrone. So he still was not happy with that. He still says, started this, but I promise I'll finish it and give him the worst beating of his life.
Than Than Dos
Yeah.
Anjos. Come on, don't do that. Clean it up. Clean it up.
Hey, man, I'm sure there's a language barrier.
Clean it up. I don't care if it's adrenaline pumping and you're angry. Clean up your grammar.
What do you think about Cerrone here calling him out, saying that when he cycles off, he can pass a blood test?
I think it's hilarious.
With no proof whatsoever.
Yeah, why not? Talk shit. Get it started. I like when these guys troll each other. It's fun.
Even when they're accusing other guys of drug testing?
Whatever. How are you also going to get somebody? He obviously worked.
It worked, yeah. He's pretty pissed off about it.
And I mean, just don't be dirty.
Don't prove him right. Exactly.
Right.
That's
That's
a
gonna be the worst
solid point.
Ever. That's
Cerrone can just be
right
like,
there. Fuck him. He's running from drug test. I failed mine. Damn it. But at least I didn't run. At least I didn't run.
Y'all caught me, did you?
So we do have a announcement for UFC. What is this?
192? What?
I'm trying to think. Where is it at?
187?
192.
192, yeah. UFC 192, October 3rd.
The big numbers up top?
Yeah. I kept looking for the little one here. UFC 192 in October. Gustafson versus Cormier. Cormier is going to defend his first time against Alexander Gustafson. What do you think?
Good times.
Good times?
Yeah, of
It's going
course.
to be in Houston.
Houston?
Yep.
Why?
I don't know. When's the last time you went to Houston?
I don't know. I guess it's been a while.
On that same card, you're going to see Rashad Evans against Ryan Bader.
You just see a lot. Usually the headliners are fighting somewhere like relative to where they're from. Didn't Cormier go to the
Vegas.
University of Arizona or something?
You guys see the
No, OSU, Texas,
all-
or
OSU.
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma? Okay.
Yeah, cake and chicken.
cake and chicken?
Cake and
Yeah,
chicken. Yeah.
cake and chicken.
I can't watch the whole thing, but it's slightly funny.
It's slightly funny. So whoever made that, you're slightly funny.
Like I said, Rashad Evans and Ryan Bader on that same card.
Again? Wait. Have they fought before?
No.
So a fight that should have happened 8 years ago is happening. We
Do
seem
you
to have a lot
expect
of
much
those
out of
lately.
that fight?
A lot of big overhand rights and dancing.
Possibly some takedowns.
Yeah, you
takedown
think-
attempts.
I don't know.
At least takedown attempts.
They're both really good wrestlers.
Yeah.
They're
My
probably
knees hurt, your knees hurt. Let's stay up standing.
It's going to be like grudge match.
And we have Robbie Lawler's next fight will be UFC 194. Robbie Lawler will be taking on Carlos Condit for the title in Calgary, December 5th.
That made it move a little bit.
Yeah, that is an awesome fight.
That made it move.
It's definitely a halfie.
I'm worried.
Half chub on this one.
Yeah.
I'm worried for Robbie because one, we know Carlos can
gotta
take
test.
Carlos can take a condit. I mean, Carlos can take a beating.
Carlos can take a condit.
He can take a beating.
So can
And-
Robbie.
I don't know, man. Rory was whooping his ass.
Yeah, but look at his lip, and he still did fine.
I know, but Rory
Look
was
at his
whooping
face, and
his
he
Rory
ass.
did look like he was going to stop him.
Rory looked like a fucking zombie by the end of that
He did.
fight.
I agree.
More like an alien.
His eyes were sunken in the back of his head.
I agree, but it
His
was like
nose
round
was
2 or
broken.
3. I was like, oh shit, he's going to finish Robbie.
Yeah, there was one where he stumbled and pretty
This
good.
is the only
almost at the end.
sport or thing you could talk about and say that, huh? I was just sitting here waiting for him to finish Robbie.
This and porn.
Also on that same card,
Porn is not a sport.
Depends on how you do it.
Shit.
hey, if you could
I got
give it,
some
if
video
you could
for
give it
you.
a score, I'm pretty sure it could be a sport.
Yeah.
It's
Because there's an audience.
Does somebody win?
You
Right?
got it,
Somebody
right?
wins.
It's a sport or no, it's a game. Never mind. Or
What
it's
was
a
I
sport?
mean? There was that porn site that like introduced with MMA, right?
Yeah, Ultimate Surrender.
Yeah, there you go. That's,
I mean,
it's a
something
sport.
like that.
Google that.
It was
like that.
yeah, you know,
Yeah,
where
go ultimatesurrender.com.
one got to do each other.
You will see nudity if you go to that site. I warn you right now. It's and like not just like, oh, she's naked. Like,
What's
oh
your
my
password to
god.
get into that?
Oh, it's expired. I did not renew my membership.
Also, in that same card, Johnny Hendricks against Tyron Woodley.
That's cool too.
Yeah.
I like that.
That's a good card. I like that card.
Nice little welterweight
If
card
we
for
could make it to
Calgary.
the card with all 4 people staying healthy.
Yeah, it's not until December.
That's a long way.
All right, well, let's take bets then on the 4 of them who's going to get injured.
First,
I was saying, can you lay down
Hendricks.
Hendricks, yeah, I'll bet on Hendricks.
This would be my order. Hendricks, Condit, Woodley, Lawler.
I'm gonna go Hendricks, Lawler, Woodley, Condit.
I like Dennis's order. I'm going to go with Dennis's
All
order.
All right. What's that place you make all those weird bets? What's it called?
DraftKings.
No.
No, there's some other one that
Long
does
shots?
that
The
does
long
like
shot bets.
Oh, I
random
don't know.
prop betting.
Prop betting, yeah.
DraftKings doesn't do prop betting, huh?
No, they don't do prop bets. And
Because I want to make that bet now. I would. Yeah, Hendricks is going to be hurt before this happens.
well, I say Hendricks too. Hendricks is definitely the first one.
Yeah.
Definitely the first one to get hurt.
Sherdog. What the hell? We never go to Sherdog.
Last little bit of news here. They have one of the biggest news sports,
Yeah.
or excuse me, news stories that come out of this past week, where we had Real Sports, the HBO show, did a short piece on MMA, specifically domestic violence in MMA, and they pointed to the biggest case. Obviously, it's going on right now, where they talked to Christy Mack against War Machine,
Right.
and they put up some numbers that were pretty crazy.
Pretty one-sided too.
Pretty one-sided. They were saying it. Now, again, right off the bat, I want to say that it's not these types of pieces shouldn't be done. Yes, we need to have pieces against domestic violence, especially for all sports. They've done them before about NFL players. They've done them before
Right.
about NBA players. With MMA being a newer sport, they do to make sure these things are brought to attention and whatever. However, the numbers that they gave were just a little weird. They said in mixed martial arts, domestic violence arrest rate is 750 per 100,000 men. In mixed martial arts, MMA as a whole, compared to only 210 in the NFL and 360 in the American population.
So they did specifically the National Football League, yet blanketed MMA as a whole.
Yes.
So they're including every little mom and pop league on the planet.
However, they said they focused on the top 200 fighters in several weight classes, okay, and said they only took numbers from males, only those who are American.
Wait, so if you're fighting in mixed martial arts and you're living in America, but you're not an American, they didn't count you?
No.
So like
Thiago Silva, who went down and went all crazy in Brazil against his wife, he's not counted.
Well, that helps us then.
But still,
Yeah, that's good that they didn't
just
count it.
saying.
This is bullshit, man. I'm sorry.
We
this
don't
whole
know who
thing-
the fighters are. We don't know the weight classes. We don't know which males. We don't know why only Americans. The other thing is too is they didn't say the UFC. They didn't say Bellator. They didn't pick a promotion.
And that's
they
why
said
it's
the
bullshit.
sport on a whole.
That's why it's
and the big
bullshit.
thing that Sherdog brought up, and that I totally agree with, and I talked to Dennis about this, is they said, look at it this way: a sport. If you look at it, neither of us are going to be able to walk onto an NFL field and get on the team. However, either one of us could get a fight book by the time we're done with this podcast
Absolutely.
in MMA.
Yep.
Flat out. That's how open it is. NFL's pretty tight numbered.
And are they looking at statistics like pre-mixed martial arts career, during mixed martial arts career?
No.
You know, if you focus on with the NFL, are they looking at current players that get in trouble for domestic violence while they're on a team, or are they looking at guys past their retirement?
Right, that's what someone said. Does this mean fighters are in the top 200 at any time in the last 12 years? Are we talking about right now? whose top 200 list is this?
Right.
They just picked. I think these are the top 200 guys.
Right.
Right. And I can't stress enough that this is something that needs to be talked about.
Right.
But when you're going to bring it up, it needs to. You can't just corner a group the way that they did.
Well, no, they did it as a slam piece on mixed martial arts.
Now, I did, like having them sit down with Christy Mack and tell her side of the story, and everything was focused on how bad, War Machine is and all this kind of stuff. But to go again and say that, mixed martial arts, the general public's going to look at this and go, well, of course, mixed martial arts is a horrible sport. I mean, they have most domestic violence because, obviously they're fighters and they're violent people and all this.
Which is just dumb.
It's just, it kind of feeds into.
And then the other end of it,
the
too,
whole machine.
like we were talking earlier, is how some people get down in their own relationships might be a little bit different, and not to legitimize what's happening, but what me and you consider mild could be somebody's off the hinge, and
what we consider mild could be somebody's foreplay.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I don't like the whole way this was done at all. I don't like them blanketing all mixed martial arts together, or just lumping it all together as a whole, and then singling out NFL. I don't like the fact that if we're talking about NFL players past and present, then I guess I can understand their comparison to War Machine. But keep in mind, War Machine doesn't fight for the UFC anymore, and hadn't fought for the UFC in a while when this happened with Christy Mack. Yep. Same as Mayhem Miller, when he lost his shit, he was no longer on the UFC roster either. So there's obviously
look at the whole Travis Brown thing. They cut him from everything.
Yeah. Without even a trial.
Without even they don't even know if he's guilty or not. I mean, the same thing happened with Thiago. However, same thing happened with Thiago Silva. They cut him away from everything until it went in front of a judge.
Yeah,
when the judge said, we have no evidence to prove that he actually did anything, blah, 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 they let him back in.
To save your black eye for your organization, whatever it may be, I can understand that. But like I was saying to you guys in the text messages back and forth, like Floyd Mayweather's been busted 7-9 times for domestic violence alone, just him. So you're going to sit here and try to point out mixed martial arts is of course it's a violent sport, but these guys are not all violent at home.
See, this is the problem. Instead of doing the piece and saying we need to stop domestic violence, what they're doing, and when they do these pieces, they're saying, well, look at this sport. They're doing domestic violence, so we need to do something to the sport.
About the sport.
But that's not it. You need to do something about the mentality that leads
domestic
to that.
violence.
Right,
Yeah.
and everything that I was sending you guys was all about. I can tell you that it's high amongst athletes. Period.
Yeah.
Not any specific sport, just college athletes alone. The number's astronomical who are involved in sexual assault and domestic violence.
Well, I don't want to get too psychological because I don't really know what the fuck I'm talking about. But honestly, it's like it seems like the competition kind of breeds that animalistic instinct in anybody, regardless of what the sport is. And I'm not trying to make excuses or anything like that, but like you said, it's across all athletes. I mean, shit, Hope Solo beat the hell out of her sister at Thanksgiving dinner. She got busted for domestic violence.
Wouldn't pass the gravy.
She tried to get in the goal. Swatted it down.
I mean, what about Aaron Tohill beating the shit out of her boyfriend? And that whole case that it wasn't talked about. Aaron Tohill is a mixed martial arts fighter, and everyone's like, you got beat up by a girl. Yeah, how about a girl who is a mixed martial artist, 140 pound, that was a former champion, and you're just her boyfriend who doesn't do any of that stuff.
And then you get laughed at for it.
Scary thing.
Or nobody, and the whole thing about the two WNBA players that were in a relationship together, played for different teams, and they had a huge domestic dispute over the holidays. I mean, it happens across the board in every sport. And if you're going to focus on the NFL, you got to focus on the UFC. You can't just do every mom and pop organization across the board. You just can't do that. It does not legitimize your study at all. It makes you look like a fucking idiot. And if you're just comparing the UFC to just NFL, you need to compare it to more sports than that. Let's see what the rates are in NHL, in MLB, in Major League Soccer, in fucking tennis. Right. So then we can see what's the difference between these sports that could possibly make them less violent. Tennis, there's not really any physical interaction between people, but in soccer there is.
To watch when you just listen to the sound. It's like porn.
Exactly.
Especially when it's like tennis.
Porn.
That's all it is. I don't even have to watch the TV. It's great. Just turn the sound up.
I don't know if that was drums with James Brown starting.
But seriously, let's look at it. Like, if you want to give us a legitimate study, if you're fucking HBO and you're gonna do a study on this, do it right. Give us the stats on contact sports versus non-contact sports. Look at just major organizations like you did not do. I just don't understand why they would put this half-ass study out there that just tries to deface mixed martial arts. I don't understand why they would do that unless they had some kind of agenda. And like I said in the text message too, it's more dangerous to date a comedian right now than it is a mixed martial artist.
And that's the truth. I looked it up. Comedians are ruthless.
Well, they're always trying to go out there and kill.
Yeah. And Most of the time they bomb. Be here all week.
So, did you guys get a chance to watch Fight Night on
Yep.
Fox Sports 1?
I literally jumped on the Reddit forums and I was like, oh, I wonder what the Reddit forums look like before the fight's over. And it's over. I forgot to start it at 10 a.m.
At 10 a.m.
That whole time thing eludes him every time.
It
Every
does.
time.
It does.
Want to jump right into that?
I need to have one of those, like, the clocks that are set up on, like, New York time and East Coast time and Brazil time.
MMA time.
MMA time. Yeah, exactly.
The next card will start in.
Just like a red countdown clock, like on Pacific Rim,
Right?
in
Yeah.
between attacks. Yeah, perfect.
He already
Yeah.
has that map in his house everywhere. It's like, you are here. You're in the kitchen, Joey. Oh, where am I at now? You are in your bedroom.
How do I get to the kitchen? And then I end up back in my bedroom somehow. Oh, damn it. All right, so yeah, we had the UFC on Fox last weekend.
Fight Night.
Fight Night, sorry.
Fox Sports 1.
Fox Sports 1. whatever.
71.
Stop scrolling down. I don't know what the hell I'm
Chickers in
talking about.
Scotland.
Scotland. Your preliminary UFC Fight Pass card, which, by the way, people are saying to boycott the UFC to cancel your Fight Pass subscription.
Why?
That's just what they're saying online.
Why are we boycotting the UFC?
Because of Stitch. Because apparently that was the last call for all the keyboard warriors.
Really, a cut man? I mean, I like Stitch.
I like
and everything.
Stitch.
I do.
But
We drew the straw at the cut man.
Yeah, that was the one that broke the camel's back. Was it?
Jay, he recently came out today and said he'd be willing to work with them again. He has no problem with it.
Yeah.
He's like, I understand.
I just wanted to put something together, you know,
business,
like
you know.
some type of payment.
Yeah, and he says, you know, I'd really like to get a chance to talk to Reebok and show them that, hey, I'm prime real estate. Put a Reebok logo on my vest.
Right. Would make sense. Weird decision. Weird, hasty decision that we see from the UFC a little bit too many times, I think.
Yeah.
Shoot from the hip a lot. So first on your Fight Pass, you had Daniel Kenabayeval up against Chris De La Rocha. Daniel gets a win in the first round with a TKO. Then Jimmy Rivera to the once great Marcus Brimage, who was falling
Was
down
he
to
really
Fight Pass.
once great?
Once okay Marcus Brimage, who
I feel more comfortable with that statement.
who lost via TKO in a minute 29 of the first round as well.
In fact, let's look at Marcus Brimage's record real quick. Was he once great?
Let's see.
When
No.
he started in the UFC,
I would say on
He won
September
2 in a row.
Yeah, September 22nd, he was riding a high.
He was,
He was.
and then fell down.
Yeah.
no, I'd give him even when he kind of won against Maxwell Blanco and they had the backflip off in the middle of the ring afterwards. That was his first fight in the or second fight in the UFC.
Oh, right, I remember that.
Yeah.
Well, whatever. He now lost.
And
then
that was our reflection
On
on
Marcus
Mr.
Brimage's-
Brimage.
Marcus Brimage's career.
whatever.
He won 2 fights. He lost 2 fights. He won a fight. He lost 3 fights.
Now he's going. To,
He had a 4-win streak.
now he's
No,
going.
did
to,
he?
Yeah.
Yeah, but 2 of them were in the UFC.
Show.
Oh, 3 of them. All right, we'll give him
There you
that.
go.
They were 4 in a row.
There
you
was
go.
4 in a row.
And that was
2,
another
1,
look at Marcus
2.
Brimage.
And now he's going to Bellator. Rob Whiteford went up against Paul Redmond. White versus Red. Red loses via KO in the first round. Also, Michael Lebu went up against Timu Pikachu. This went to unanimous decision.
And neither of them still are clickable.
Year Latifi up against Hodden Stringer. This was a first round KO as well. A lot of first round KOs on this card.
Epic.
Yeah.
Epic.
56 seconds.
Great.
Could you
Yeah.
hear it? Did you hear it
You
happen?
could hear it.
I like the guys'
I like-
reaction when they come back.
I like you could hear the crowd.
His soul left his body. And then Patty Holohan up against Vaughn Lee. Patty gets the win with the unanimous decision.
Conor McGregor's stablemate.
Ah, there you go. And then
The
jumping.
one he won't share his whiskey with. Or he'll share his whiskey with, but he won't share his bonus money.
Stevie Ray up against Leonardo Mafra.
Yeah.
He lost to Godzilla and he lost to Stevie Ray.
Told you.
Leon Edwards up against Powell Pollock. Decision.
Well, yeah.
Leon Edwards wins that one. Joanne Calderwood gets unanimous decision over Courtney Casey.
How did you think that fight went? I mean, she was dominant, but
yeah.
do you feel like she could have been doing more?
I think she went. At first, she was beating the shit out of
Yeah.
her. But then I think she went easier on her because they're like
Pace
JoJo.
yourself.
If she wouldn't have took this fight, you wouldn't have got to fight anybody. You really should stop beating the shit out of her so much. You know you have this fight, and she did take it on a short notice, so
sorry.
you could still fight.
Thank you so much for taking the fight. I'll take it easy on you for the rest of the rounds. Joseph Duffy up against Ivan George.
He's coming for you, Connor. He's coming for you.
First round submission via triangle choke. So watch out, Conor McGregor.
Yeah, he's the last man to defeat him.
Oh,
We're
see?
gonna hear that until they fucking make that match. every single intro.
And he was talking shit too, huh?
yeah.
I need to find out the name of that character on the Great White Hype. Start calling him that from now on. Evan Dunham up against Ross Pearson. Ross Pearson loses via, was that decision?
Unanimous decision.
Yeah, via unanimous decision. Surprised at that one?
I'm surprised Ross Pearson lost, but I wasn't surprised watching the fight. I mean, he deserved to lose. I just thought Ross Pearson was going to be doing better.
And then we had our main event with Michael Bisping going up against Talis Letis with a split decision in favor of Bisping.
A lot of people thought this was pretty controversial. A lot of boos going on. A lot of people think that Talis Letis should have won. They're saying that they gave it to Bisping because he was in Europe.
I don't really think the
was in
judges' minds
Scotland.
work that way, honestly, but whatever.
His toe, though.
His toe was brutal.
What did he cut that on?
I don't know.
I think the other guy's tooth.
Ah.
What was that?
Yeah.
It was bad. You didn't see it? Look at that.
Ah, God. It's like all the way up to the ball of his foot, man.
Oh.
Yeah. It's sliced.
It looks like a freaking hangnail.
I like that they say it looks like a piece of bacon hanging off the end of his toe.
I'll have a toe with a slice of bacon.
If he cut it on his tooth, that means that there's still something in there.
Oh!
Spit that stuff out for a couple weeks.
In his mouth.
Just feel like I got something in my teeth.
It's all in his
Don't
mouth.
understand.
Bisping says now he wants to take on the cheaters and the liars of Vitor Belfort. Oh, excuse me, cheating scumbag motherfuckers. Vitor Belfort and Dan Henderson, since they were all jacked up on TRT when they fought him.
Rematch.
Yeah, and
Revenge.
Vitor Belfort, of course, said, I'll take it. He's like, remember, this is the guy that kicked you in the face and knocked you out.
Right. Well, let's see Vitor Belfort do it again off the juice.
Right? Because
got
he looked
Jesus,
a little,
bro.
he looked a little doughy when he was fighting Weidman there.
Right. Exactly. There you go.
Do you think? I mean, are you happy about Bisping winning? Do you think he needs a title shot now,
No. No, he needs to just fight the old guys like he's going to do.
and then just be done with it?
Just stick around that area. You're not. Every time he gets within contention, he loses anyway. So just be happy getting paid to fight old dudes.
And they did not correct his eye. That
No.
can still hope it's going to happen.
Still there.
He's gonna, he could eventually play linebacker in every one of Adam Sandler's movie.
You're right there.
Yeah, made me go retarded.
Irish Terry
Conklin.
Hey, that kind of makes sense.
Except for he's not really Irish in the movie.
Sounds like
No.
a pie.
But
I'm not
Duffy
Irish.
is.
You're white. It's close enough.
Duffy is.
There you go. Perfect.
Perfect. It's going to happen. We have World Series of Fighting going on today?
Is it today?
August 1st? No.
No.
Coming up.
That's next week,
That's
man.
next week. Well, then we'll just skip that and talk about it next week.
Oh shit! I won't be here next week.
Me and Dennis will talk about that next week. We're going to get one of the fighters to come back and talk to me.
Yeah.
Maybe. Can I have my board back? Who's got the board?
No. I'll make sure you get it back soon.
Okay, so we do have, though, on Fox, on Big Fox,
This is fantastic that you're getting this fight for free.
you're
people.
getting this for free. You get to see a title fight on Big Fox. Starting on Fight Pass, though, you do have 4 fights before moving on.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Zach Cummings going up against Dominic Steele. I like the name. Dominic Steele. Sounds like a porn star name,
It does.
but whatever. I'll pick Dominic Steele.
So does Zach Cummings. So, I mean, are we really going to...
Zach Cummings,
Are we-
Dominic Steele.
Are we really going to be comparing...
Oh, man. I'm going to go Google that later. Jessamine Duke up against Elizabeth Phillips.
Why is Jessamine Duke still fighting the UFC?
Because she's going to beat Elizabeth Phillips.
Because this is her 3rd fight on her contract, and then she's done.
Actually, I think that's true.
Yeah.
I really do. Isn't she like... let's see.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's 3-2-1. That's why.
Told you. This is going to be it. It'll be the last time you see Jessamine Duke if she doesn't win. Calling it. Ramsey Nijum going against Andrew Holbrook.
Poor Ramsey Nigel getting bumped down to Fight Pass.
Poor guy.
He was a good mid-card guy that was on the rise for a little while.
Is this Crookshank's little brother or something? Darren Crookshank?
What? No, that's Darren Crookshank.
I thought it was Daniel Crookshank. And I do this every week. Whatever. James Krause. So you like Crookshank in this one?
Yeah. I'll take Crookshank.
This is how to not do a
Am I worried
podcast,
about the other
people.
ones? No. Now, maybe.
Yeah. I'm going to take Krause.
Kraus?
Yeah. Even though I expect Crookshank's explosive and powerful, I'm going to go with Krause.
He's white.
So? No, what's the new one? What's the new
I don't
one?
know. What is it?
Remember you said it's replaced Powerful and fast.
Or the explosive and athletic?
Oh, I don't remember what I said.
Oh, God. Elusive? No.
No, elusive is Asian. Jumping onto your prelim card on Fox. You can see this live on Fox. Make sure you check it out. Eddie Wineland going up against Brian Caraway.
We already know who you're taking, right?
Mr. Tate?
Yeah.
Are you going to take Mr.
No,
Tate?
I'm taking Eddie Wineland.
Yeah.
Eddie Wineland
exactly.
all day. I love Eddie Wineland.
Wineland, yeah.
I want him to keep the mustache, though, man. That mustache he has off season is badass. It was like Raleigh Fingers. It's got like the
yeah?
Oh, yeah.
And he got rid of it?
Yeah, he shaves it for fights.
Oh,
But he
okay.
keeps it. But here's the thing that I think is interesting. This was big news all on the underground this week. Brian Caraway, Misha Tate are going to corner each other. They both have a fight on this card.
That's just stupid. That's just a really
What
bad
happens
idea.
if Brian Caraway gets knocked the fuck out and then he's got to go later into the main card and try to corner his girlfriend?
Yeah, we've seen what happens, like, just with
Anthony Pettis.
Pettis watching his little brother get knocked out, and he said he's never going to fight on the same card as him again. It's a terrible idea. Kenny Robertson going up against Big Ben Saunders.
Yeah.
How do you like this one?
I wonder how Killabee's going to do. How's he going to win this time? Because the last two wins have been pretty weird. He had, was it Joe Riggs, who quit in the middle of a fight because of an injury? Right?
Oh, that's right. Joe Riggs' big return. Stop the diesel. Ran out of gas.
Doesn't want it. The internet's broken.
Internet's broken.
But I'd like to see Ben Saunders win this fight. I just think Kenny Robinson's going to be a little too much for him in this. I really like Ben Saunders. He's been on a tear since he's been coming back.
I'm not a fan of Ben Saunders.
Like I said, the last two fights have been a little weird. But
I'm taking Kenny Robertson in this one.
Kenny Robinson.
This should be a really good fight. Make sure you don't blink. Jim Miller up against Danny Castillo.
Yeah.
These are two high-energy guys, very tenacious in the cage.
I'm worried about Danny Castillo after the last time he lost. He said he was thinking about retiring and just working on his hot Pilates studio.
That's right. He has the hot Pilates. I forgot about that.
And he said he doesn't know where he's going to go from here. Like his last fight, he said he was going to retire if he didn't win. And he lost, and he didn't retire. So
Well, then he'll probably retire after.
He definitely has some thoughts on not sticking around.
And that's
the
what
fight
that's what's shitty is when you start thinking about that. Then your head's not completely in the game.
Yeah.
And going up against somebody like Jim Miller, you probably should have your head in the game. I got Jim Miller in this one.
Taking Jim Miller.
Yeah. Anybody else? No. All right. Guillaume Viante up against Tom Lawler.
Yeah, Tom Lawler coming back. Are we going to see a crazy walkout? You can probably check it out here in about 20 minutes. They usually put them up on Fox Sports 1. You can see the weigh-ins.
We're not going to.
Not even on the weigh-ins. He's going to do something
He's
crazy.
probably not allowed to anymore.
As long as it doesn't have a logo.
Well, I guess we'll see.
I mean,
We'll see.
maybe he'll at least have interesting music when he walks out in his Reebok gear.
They don't have a single.
They actually corrected his Reebok gear. He was pretty happy about it, by the way, because it didn't say Thomas Lawler anymore. It says Filthy Tom Lawler.
Oh, does it?
He's happy that they corrected it, although he still says paying $75 to pay for it is expensive and don't do it.
So how long until Reebok has a standard song for them all to walk out to?
Like kind of like the WWE event.
Go,
where it's
go,
like the
Power
UFC is sponsored by, and it's like
Rangers!
whatever hit singles on the radio at the moment.
Yeah, pretty much.
And they just do the whole event. The soundtrack to this event is, and it's just one song.
It'll probably be some motivational track from one of their old commercials.
That'd be all right.
It'd
Then.
be like a Reebok pump commercial, like 1990. Tom Lawler, this one?
No, I'm taking Vellante. I like Tom Lawler, but I'm taking Vellante.
All right, moving on to your main card here, which is also on Fox again for free. Make sure you check it out. Joe Lauzon taking on Takanori Gomi. Very interesting matchup here. This is your grappler versus striker for sure.
Yeah, Takanori Gomi, man, the Fireball Kid. He was on just when he came to the UFC, he hasn't looked the same. I mean, he just has not looked the same. He's had a couple good fights, but
No,
he's not.
A lot of those
Fireball
crossovers are
Kid.
like that.
I'm saying Joe Lauzon, Mr. J Lau over here
Yep.
for the win, and I'm probably saying submission.
Unless he's stupid and tries to box.
Even if he is stupid and tries to box, Gomi's lost a step. He's still got heavy hands. Just not as fast.
I'm with Lauzon on this one too, but I'm just
It'd be amazing if it was like straight up go-go plata like Nick Diaz did to him.
Oh yeah, that'd be great. But I'd be worried about Takanori Gomi loves to bounce off that cage and throw heavy leather.
Yep.
It's his favorite thing to do, and that's what he likes to do when the other boxers get confident with him.
Yep.
So just watch out, J-Lo. And then Edson Barboza up against Paul Felder.
I like Barboza, always. I think Felder definitely has a better chance than some of the last opponents going up against Barboza, but I'm going to take Barboza.
Me too.
Your girlfriend.
Yeah, the co-main event here is Misha Tate, Cupcake, going up against Jessica I might have to get off the Misha Tate train if she loses this one.
Yeah?
I might have to.
I don't think you'd ever get off her train. I'm just saying you're always going to be in line waiting for that train.
5th or 15th.
There is a good caboose on that
Out of
train.
how many? Out of how
There is
many?
a
Though?
good
That's
caboose.
always my question. Fifth of is it 15 of 15? Or they're still like...
Does it really matter at that
it does.
point?
It does.
I don't know how that matters.
It does, because am I going to finish strong and be the one she remembers?
I never thought of it that way. That's
Right?
actually a very
Or if there's
interesting
another
point.
100 guys, it's just like, does it fucking matter? No, just draw. I guess get in early.
Get in
I'll go
early.
fifth. At that point, I'll go in fifth. If it's 5th to 15 and 15 out of 15, I'll take 15. Maybe she falls in love with me because I'm the last one.
Oh, I'm sorry I even brought it up.
Just saying.
You make a very valid point, though. And we have your champ, TJ
Nothing?
Dillashaw.
Nothing.
Hey, when you eat
No,
the
I
whip,
was-
when you eat the whipped cream, you eat what's at the top, right? And if you're last, you're the one putting it on top. Done?
That's disgusting. John. That is disgusting. There's no.
Be first.
I really doubt that you can eat 15 cream pies in one sitting. I'm just saying.
Hey, don't put it past him. This guy, he is an achiever. He
And
is.
let me tell you something. After 15, there's no more cherry on top
Yeah.
of that.
Oh, yeah. Moon pies is his thing.
I don't even know what that is.
I'm taking. I think Jessica has better standard than Misha Tate. I think she could put pressure on it early. But I think Misha Tate's going to take her down and grind it out. I'll take Misha Tate.
Sorry, we had to explain moon pie over here.
I didn't really need you to explain it, but it was funny enough.
Oh, God.
It's like the booty Eclair.
Are you taking?
Booty Eclair.
Are you taking Misha Tate?
Yes.
All right.
One last time. One last hurrah.
One last time.
And then your champion, TJ Dillashaw, going up against Hannah Burnau in a rematch.
In a rematch that should have happened. In a rematch that should have happened back last fucking August.
Yeah.
Instead, I got to watch Joe Soto. And
Hey, it was one of our guys.
It was what? It was.
Don't be angry.
I'm angry.
We talked to TJ Dillashaw this week. We had a great interview with him. It was a lot of fun. Go give it a listen. He forgot about the bear versus pterodactyl question and made us both
I'm sure
look like
most.
assholes.
I'm sure
but
most of them.
whatever.
Well, you forgot to tell him that it was
You
part
left
of our
out
debate.
5 words.
5 words.
Yeah.
Part of our ongoing debate.
One of our ongoing.
And that's why he was like, "What are you talking about?"
But I called him. I said Team Bear in the beginning of it. He didn't say anything.
And then he was like, "I'm Team Alpha Male.
Yeah, he
I
said,
don't know
well,
what you're
that's the
talking
second
about."
time you told me that. Why am I Team Bear?
Because we're doing this in San Francisco, son.
Oh, he would be Team Cub.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's a little cubby.
He's a little Team Cub.
I want to know how you guys know that. I don't know what that means.
I thought they called them seals.
Do they?
What they called them? No, otters.
Otters?
Otters, maybe?
No, they call them seals when they're going to go clubbing.
Oh, dad
Nosferatu
jokes.
here, I think, got some new teeth, though. I thought I saw a picture where he got those things fixed, where he doesn't look all crazy.
Oh, really?
Hannah Morale? Yeah, he used to have like big long teeth and
Oh.
sunken in eyes.
Like Nosferatu?
Yeah, that's what I just said. He looked like
said
Nosferatu. I think he got his stuff,
Chupacabra in his neighborhood.
he got his stuff fixed. TJ Dillashaw, I'm still taking for the win.
Well, we talked to TJ about
I mean,
this.
he demolished him in that first fight. They shouldn't even had a rematch that was that quick.
Right. Hannah Brow was training for who? Swanko in the first
At the
fight?
first, yeah.
And then Swanko pulled out. The main event got all screwed up, and then TJ Dillashaw came in. TJ Dillashaw said 9 weeks. Did they really have 9 weeks?
9 weeks.
It just didn't seem like it was that much. Oh. But that's what TJ Dillashaw said.
It wasn't like Joe Soto where it was the night of
Right. No, I understand. I understand.
because a bathtub took out Hannah Morale.
I just remember we were. I just remember we were talking about this when they did replace the fight and they moved everything around. It just seemed like it was closer to it than 9 weeks. But maybe the fighters knew before it was announced. I have no idea.
I'm sure they did.
I have no idea. But TJ Dillashaw obviously showed the world that he was championship material when he took out Hannah Morale. Did what his gym owner and fellow fighter couldn't do. Uriah Faber, and got the strap. Now Hannah Morale's coming back for it, saying that he's going to get it back. And
He wants a trilogy.
He wants a trilogy.
That's what Barrow says.
Why would you want a trilogy?
I'm going to win it, and then I'll give him a rematch, and then we'll see what happens.
Okay, well, fine.
I don't. I'd rather see TJ Dillashaw. He's going to win this fight. He's going to keep it, and then have him go up against Dominic Cruz if his zombie hands ever come back to life.
I remember saying it was a fluke when it happened the first time because in
I don't
my
think it
head,
was a fluke.
that's fine. I'm publicly apologizing because in my head, for some reason, I thought they had less time to prepare. Whereas TJ Dillashaw coming in, like Barrow didn't know what to expect, and he was
Right.
going up against a Swanko to begin with.
Right.
But 9 weeks, really, there's no excuse there. So I thinking before that Barrow was going to come back and really just demolish TJ Dillashaw. Now I don't know what to think.
Have you heard any of what
Did they take out all
Dwayne's been saying?
The bathrooms tubs like out of his room for today. I want to make sure that he's going to make it.
Just for today.
Have you heard like Dwayne is saying that
TJ Dillashaw is the only guy out of Alpha Male to ever won it.
No, that wants to be a winner.
That wants to be a champion. Wants to be a champion. He said Chad Mendez should have won that fight, but having 2 weeks' notice, it's hard to tell. Obviously, he didn't have the cardio. Straight up said that guy doesn't train every day. That's why. TJ Dillashaw would have been training every day.
Really?
Chad Mendez is not. This is coming from something we've heard along the lines that he does not train every day. And of course, with only a 2-week fight camp, you're not going to be ready.
Well, that's what Dillashaw said about the situation too when we talked to him.
He's not somebody that's always in there. I mean, he's there, but he's not training for a fight. Whereas T.J. Dillashaw is constantly training for a fight.
Dillashaw also said in our interview that he'd be more than happy to fight Conor McGregor as well.
Yep.
Make sure you check out that interview. It was fun. He's a cool guy. And what was our question for him? Spiders or sharks?
Oh, yeah. We'll ask you guys this question. Would you rather be trapped in an aquarium with a great white shark or trapped in a room where the floor is covered in spiders?
Shark.
You'd rather be with the shark, not the spiders?
I go swim. I go swim with sharks already
No.
by choice. I already by choice go swim with great whites.
No.
Yeah, but this is a sealed tank.
Yeah.
It
you're
doesn't
in a sealed
matter.
room with spiders.
Yeah.
What kind of spiders?
I said covered the whole floor in spiders. I'm not going to tell you which ones.
Yeah.
Well, if they're non-poisonous,
It doesn't matter.
I gotta go.
Hey, if you're gonna sit me in a tank with a shark that's gonna eat me, why would you get to sit in a room with spiders who won't kill you?
Just little fucking barn
I'm gonna go
spiders.
with shark.
You go shark?
Yeah, I'd go shark.
I'm more comfortable on land, dude. I got to go with spiders.
That's TJ said. He's more comfortable on land.
Yeah, I am not.
Although he does surf and wakeboard.
I
quite
can't
often.
even do that. Like my ex-wife said, I don't swim. I just don't drown. So I'm going to go with spiders. Plus, I'm comfortable around bugs too, so that really wouldn't bother me as much. I just wouldn't be able to sleep ever. Right? What was yours?
So I'll be going there with the shark. I'm
You're,
okay.
you're the shark. See, all you guys are good in water. I'm fucked. I'm shark bait. I'm the one that you guys stab and swim away from.
Plus, I don't want to die of like a high fever and a slow
Right?
death.
Just
If
eat me.
something's gonna kill me, just rip me in half already.
That's true.
So you want to change your answer?
No, I said shark.
All right.
Yeah,
Stick
but
my hand in his
okay.
gill.
that's just. But I'm guaranteed to die in the shark tank. Like there is 100% chance I'm going out.
If those are brown recluses,
They don't kill you always.
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 They usually don't. They usually don't kill you.
Just like they're not in California.
Motherfuckers in Kansas live with that shit all the time. They don't die from it all the time.
Because they're not getting bit all the time, but when they get bit, they die.
No, they don't. God damn it. Ah! It's wrong. It's all wrong. All right, so that's it.
That's
it.
Cool. So thanks for listening. And if you're listening on iHeartRadio, awesome. We're stoked to be a part of the iHeartRadio family.
Yeah, push that thumbs up button.
Please do.
Push the thumbs up button.
And tell your friends.
Favorite is as a station. You can
It's
do that.
it's probably the easiest way to access us at this point. Get the app, whatever you got to do. We're also on SoundCloud, Stitcher, and iTunes as well. You can subscribe there. Get us on the Facebook, which is Split Decision MMA Podcast. Give us a like
Hey,
and
it's no longer the Facebook.
the Facebook on the book of the faces, and Twitter and Instagram SD_MMA. Our website splitdecisionmma.com. And that wraps it up. Big thanks to strongboardbalance.com for the strongboard and for our sponsorship. Change the way you train. Get on board strongboardbalance.com and mymmanews.com as well. Well, from the Ruloff Family Inc. Studios, Bueller and Dodge saying have a good night. We'll see you at the fights.